What's up guys, it's Will here back again. Today we're here to do a tour of my personal collection. I started collecting Hot Toys in 2018 and a lot has changed since then. Allow me to walk you through my personal man cave today. We're gonna try to do it in one take, so let's see how that goes. But before we get started, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. That said, let's get into it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. As I promised, I'm going to try to do this in one take. So what you're seeing here, I'm going to actually do sort of a brief scan of every case that we get into and give you a brief little overview. This is clearly the Star Wars case that you're seeing here. These are all Hot Toys figures, so they are 1/6 scale if you're not familiar with Hot Toys. And we're going to start with the right-hand side here. This is the Attack of the Clones Count Dooku. I'm a big prequels fan. Again, people may think I'm the sequel guy, which I am kind of, but I did grow up on the prequels. So although I don't love all the prequels, I love the nostalgia that they offer me, and I do love the Revenge of the Sith, and this Count Dooku is amazing. I really love the character, so I had to pick this one up. I've had this one for quite a while now. It's easily one of the best Hot Toys head sculpts they've ever done. They seem to do really well with older men. I'm not sure why exactly. You can see here Yoda. This is the Attack of the Clones Episode 2 Yoda, a great companion piece to the Count Dooku. You could have them fighting if you wanted. There are multiple Yodas out there, but to me, this is the goated Yoda. I mean, look, this is a CGI Yoda compared to the puppet version from the original trilogy, but as far as figures are concerned, I think this looks great. Honestly, I think the CGI looks better than the puppet, so I'm always going to prefer that version. I love this Yoda, very tiny figure, but a really sought after one. The rooted hair I think is pretty awesome. So next we're looking at the Darth Maul. This is the Phantom Menace Darth Maul. This is the 1.0. So if you've been keeping up with collecting, you know there is now a 2.0 version, and it is much better. But I am going to keep this one. Now I'm going to put the second head on this 1.0 version and probably keep both. But I absolutely love this figure. Darth Maul is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, so I cannot say enough good things about him. And of course, this is the goated Star Wars character. This is Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens. I actually have a 3D printed helmet here. This is a Zach Collecting Weekly actually made me this. It's the Darth Vader melted pyro helmet. So it is really, really cool. The Force Awakens Kylo certainly is in need of an upgrade. It did not have chrome paint on the mask, nor did it have excellent tailoring, but it's still a great figure and I love it just for its sentimental value. Again, I've always said The Force Awakens is what made me a Star Wars fan, so I do have a very soft spot for that film. Kylo is my favorite Star Wars character. And how can you live without an R2-D2 in your collection? This is actually the Force Awakens version. So it is fairly weathered. In the Force Awakens, you know, R2 is barely in that film. A lot of the film, he is just sort of in hibernation, sleep mode, so to speak. And this is a great representation regardless. There were other ones that came out, like original trilogy versions, and then there's Attack of the Clones prequel as well. But, I thought I'm just going to stick with this one. There's no real reason to upgrade, so I stuck with that R2. You have Salacious Crumb, as you can see here. He came with the Return of the Jedi Anniversary C-3PO that you're going to see here. Eyes are lit up. You got the little watch battery inside. It's not ideal, but I wish it were USB power, but it's not. Nonetheless, this C-3PO is fantastic. A true figure of the year contender. It did release, I believe sometime earlier this year. I absolutely love this C-3PO. It's become an integral part of my collection. You kind of need a C-3PO and an R2 if you're going to do a Star Wars collection. So diecast, love it, love it, love it. Great figure. So I'd highly recommend pick it up. This is the Rise of Skywalker Rey Skywalker. This is my favorite version of Rey. If I could have any Rey, it would actually be the Force Awakens version, but I just feel that head sculpt looks pretty dated compared to this one. However, I don't think this one's perfect either. I do think it's probably Rey's best head sculpt, Daisy Ridley's best head sculpt, although it's not perfect. I do think it's probably the best that's being offered at the moment. I do hope if they do a Rey film, they make it good for one, and two, they decide to make a new Hot Toys figure and improve the head sculpt. You can see the Praetorian Guard in the back there, the red Praetorian Guard from The Last Jedi. This is the double blade version. He can swap out his helmet and weapons. You can make him sort of a longer blade version as well. I like the double blade. It's a cool look. I like when he pulls the blades apart and he gets the one CGI'd out of his hand as he's about to stab Rey in the back. Not ideal. Again, the fight choreography in that fight I do recognize is far from ideal, but I did love the fight. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. This is the regular Praetorian Guard, the heavy blade version. You can have the heavy blade on him. I have the sword in his hand, as you can see there, with him sort of putting it against the base there. I love these Praetorian Guards. These things are fantastic. They did make Mandalorian versions. These are better in my opinion. I do think they just have a better overall look to them. I think the costume design was just a tad bit better, although similar, albeit similar, but still great. This is a BB-8 from The Last Jedi, I believe, because this is actually a version I bought loose off of another collector. I had the original version with Rey, but I ended up selling that Rey, and I couldn't just keep the BB-8 and sell the Rey, really, and be effective. So I had to get this BB-8 version loose. It's from The Last Jedi pack, I believe. And he came with his own little base. I had to get BB-8. I love BB-8. Again, I'm a sequels fan, so unapologetically, I love the sequels. The Last Jedi, though, I've always said, not my favorite. Last Jedi is okay. I like it, but it's not great. I love Rise of Skywalker and Force Awakens, though. And of course, there's Kylo. I need both Kylos, and I'm really hoping that they actually reissue Kylo Ren for The Force Awakens, maybe make an artisan version with a head sculpt. Rise of Skywalker version, head sculpt solid. I think Last Jedi is probably the best version for head sculpt, but I do think outfit-wise, Force Awakens is the best. Rise of Skywalker has maybe the most dynamic look because you have the cracked helmet, and of course the cape, which looks pretty cool. This is the Chrome Mandalorian. I love this figure. This is fantastic. We all felt a little upset when this originally was announced because of the previous version, but you get a Grogu. Grogu came with like almost every figure, but you have a Grogu come with this figure. It has a chrome paint application to make it a little more shiny. It's definitely a huge improvement over the original, so I'm very happy with it. These are all Hot Toys figures, as I mentioned. I love this Mandalorian figure. I needed a Mando. I love Durasteel Mando, though, and I kind of want to make room to get him back, but right now it's a little bit tough. As you can see, I have one case for Star Wars. A little bit challenging. This is the Darkside Anakin from Episode 3. I picked this one up a while back of another collector. I originally bought it from Sideshow and sold it because I was going to wait for another Darkside. And I was like, it's been a while. I'm just going to get a Darkside. I need an Anakin in my collection. I love Anakin Skywalker as a character. I just actually bought an autograph recently of Anakin, so I'm just waiting on that to be shipped out in a couple months. But you can see the hood's up on him. The base is super awesome. It's got the Lava Droid base from the fight on Mustafar. So I love this figure. I think it's great. The pleather, don't love that. One of the legs is slightly loose in the joint, but nothing crazy. Cad Bane, absolute underrated grail. This figure is exceptional. Honestly, this is one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars when he has the duel with Cobb Vanth out in the desert of Book of Boba Fett. The show Book of Boba Fett, not so great, but there's a couple of scenes here and there that I love, and Cad Bane was in one of them. So this figure is an absolute grail for me. I cannot say enough good things about it. It's one of my favorite figures. It's probably in the top 10 or 15 figures that I have. So absolutely love it. I would highly recommend it. As Boba Fett goes, this is actually one I picked up with my bro Kiko Collects. I was in Tennessee at the toy department, in Cincinnati rather, and this one was actually on sale loose. It had all of its accessories for $125. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted this figure. This is one of the best scenes in Star Wars as well. Mandalorian Season 2, which was a great season of Star Wars television. And I love this. They call him Bird Poop Boba some. He's weathered Boba. You know, that's really what he is. But I love this scene where he just sort of lights up all the stormtroopers. So I got him in a little dynamic shooting pose there. This is the Darth Vader from Kenobi, the DX version. They've recently announced a more battle damage version from we believe to be the Force Unleashed. I really love this version, so I'm going to keep this one, although it is pleather. The light up function is awesome, though. It's USB powered, so his chest boxes and belt boxes and lightsaber light up via USB cable. It's great. I love this figure. One of my favorites, absolutely. I don't plan on selling this one, despite the fact that there is another battle damage version out there. The show, I didn't love the show, but I love this scene and I love this interaction. So for me, this is going to be kept, and I'm really excited about this. So just give you guys one more wide shot of the case here. Here's the Star Wars case in totality. Much more to be added, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. And that's how collecting goes, and that's how we should view it. There's a lot of room still left, and I'll fill it. So let's take a look at our second case. Here's a Marvel case. So these are all Magicase cases, by the way, if you're wondering. This one's 25 inches tall. I have two 25-inch 6/165 cases. And you can see the Marvel case is starting to fill up. I'm definitely, filling up the case here. So there's a little bit of room still to be used up, but I'm definitely filling it up pretty quickly, unfortunately. This is the Scarlet Witch. I picked this one up maybe about a month ago. This is actually the Multiverse of Madness Deluxe version. And I really love this one. I did pick up the artisan version. I want to compare them and see which one I'm going to end up keeping. I need a Wanda in my collection. It's just a matter of which one. I have a feeling the artisan version is going to surpass this one. This one does not have movable eyes, but the head sculpt is fantastic. The base is fantastic. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. The blurry print on the cardboard, yes, I agree, isn't great, but I still love the dynamism of the base. It's got a lot of presence to it, so I love that. And honestly, this is one of the best Hot Toys figures that they've ever done. This is Carnage from Let There Be Carnage Venom 2. This figure is truly phenomenal. It's massive for one. It's almost 18 inches tall, but there's so many swap out accessories and tendrils, and the body feels just very gooey. The head sculpt, I love this version with the teeth compared to the tongue. I think the teeth version looks a little bit more natural in a figure form, and I absolutely love this figure. This is not one that I could see myself getting rid of. I actually liked Venom 2. I don't think it's great. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid film. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it, but it's certainly not a 10 or anything. Here's Loki, the Prince of Asgard, the rightful ruler of Jotunheim. So this is the Endgame version. Head sculpt was a little controversial, but I still absolutely love this figure because this is Loki's iconic look to me. So to me, there was no version I'd rather have than this one. I did pick up the Artisan God Loki, and I cannot wait to get that one in my collection. I've actually become a huge fan of Loki season 1 and 2. I really liked those shows when they came out. I was always a big fan, but as they stopped airing, they grew on me even more. And now I've become a super fan of them. So now we have the Venom. This is the original Venom from Venom 1. I absolutely love this figure. You can hide the shoulder joints, as you see, pretty well just by positioning the body and torso in the right way. So Venom is fantastic. The teeth version is what I prefer on this figure as well. I absolutely love it. Again, a very sort of rubbery, gooey-like texture to him. And you can see he's actually much smaller than Carnage, but still, you got to have those two together. I'm not a huge fan of the Venom films, but I enjoyed them. The first one was okay. It was all right. The second one, actually, like I said, pretty good, but I enjoyed the character of Venom too. So my one Thor representation is Infinity War Thor. This is probably one of the Thors you can get for the cheapest because of the overproduction. But to me, this is Thor's height of his powers. This is Thor's most iconic moment. There's no moment more iconic for Thor, in my opinion, than his landing in Wakanda during Infinity War. So Stormbreaker, a little bit undersized, not a huge deal for me. I don't really think about that. I love this look. I have the eye patch on him because the likeness is pretty good, although not perfect. So if you put the eye patch on him, it helps sort of cover up any deficiencies. So I like it. This is Iron Man Battle Damage 85. Inarguably, probably the most iconic Iron Man look, right? This is Iron Man's definitive iconic moment. There are many for him, but this is the snap from Endgame, right? So putting him on his knees in the front of the base, front and center in the display, in the Marvel display. Yeah, I mean, what more could you ask for? This figure is great. The battle damage is great. The head sculpt's really good. I do think Hot Toys delivered here. Has light up, no USB function, unfortunately, but I picked this one up years ago. This was a dopo. I mean, look, everyone loves Endgame. Everyone loves Infinity War. That's Marvel's peak, right? And I can't go wrong with that. Thanos. Now, this is where the discussion comes in. Infinity War Thanos to me is goated Thanos. Infinity War is my favorite movie of all time, period, Marvel or otherwise. So I wanted the Thanos who won. I wanted the Thanos that represents my favorite film ever, and this is the one. Endgame Thanos is cool. I had that one for a while. I even owned Battle Damage Thanos. Infinity War is better. I think the head sculpt is better. I like the outfit better. I think the iconography is better. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Infinity War Thanos is officially goated. You can stamp it, timestamp it if you want. This is Endgame Captain America. This is the best Captain America Hot Toys. I think it's the coolest Captain America outfit. He has Mjolnir. He has a crack shield and a dirty shield. If you want to put him with the crack shield, you can. I love the scaly look on this outfit. The proportions are improved greatly from previous Captain America figures. So to me, this was an easy purchase. I mean, this is another one you could pick up pretty cheap because anything Endgame or Infinity War was greatly overproduced. So you can pick these up pretty reasonably these days. You can see Captain America's shield there has a lot of weathering to it. I love that. I think this is great. So Captain America must have. Goated Iron Man. This is Mark 7. This is the Mark 7 diecast. I'm assuming they're going to 2.0 this boy at some point and probably give him a better head sculpt and some more weathering and maybe a USB feature. That would be great. But for now, I love this Iron Man Mark 7. Avengers 1 is what made me a Marvel fan. Really a big geek. That and The Dark Knight are what really launched me into geekdom. And I can't say enough good things about the look of this suit and the sentimentality that I have towards it. So I really love the Mark 7. Shang-Chi is one of my favorite movies also. Shang-Chi might even be my second favorite Marvel movie and maybe a top 10 movie for me ever. My experience in the theater for that, I watched it by myself. I absolutely was over the moon with how good it was. I texted my brother because he was supposed to go with me and I was like, dude, this movie was so good, you missed out. Like, it was incredible. I saw it, I think, 3 times in theaters. I absolutely love Shang-Chi. I cannot wait for the second one. I'm shocked they have not made the second one yet, but here we are. The Shang-Chi-Chis are not really a huge problem if you put him in the right pose. I think it's fine here. You can kind of cover it up, so no biggie. Wenwu, this is Tony Leung's character, Shang-Chi's father. I got them both in poses with the rings. I think this is great. Putting them next to each other, they have a ton of presence. So if you don't have these already and you love the film, I would recommend taking a look. They're very cheap. Wenwu and Shang-Chi can be found very reasonably. Again, overproduced. They were during that time period. And the film's popular. It's tied for the highest what's it called, audience score on Rotten Tomatoes ever. It was like 98% audience. So it's very, very good. And I'm excited to see a second one. And of course, this is Tom Holland, the goated Spider-Man, objectively. So this is the new red and blue suit deluxe version with the snow base. This is from his final swing in No Way Home. The head sculpt is far too good to keep in the box, so you're going to have to put this boy on his snow base, have him standing there holding his mask. That's the pose that everyone's going to go with, although the suit does look great as well. You can see there's the snow base a little bit closer up. The head sculpt is phenomenal. It's one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen in my life at 33 years old. So I do recommend taking a look at this one if you have the funds and the space and you love Tom Holland. To me, he's goated Spider-Man, but there are a lot of Tobey stands out there. So I recognize that, and I appreciate you for your love for Spider-Man. Tobey, I mean, I think Andrew and Tobey are both great. I just love Tom the most. I think he, is my Spider-Man. I'm a big MCU fan, so there we are. This is the tech suit. This is actually not the original version. It's the movie promo version that came with the Far From Home line, essentially. So this is the one actually that does not have a head sculpt. They sold it for a little over $200. I love this suit. To me, this is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit, and I got him in a shooting pose next to Tom with the mask and new red and blue suit. The suits are somewhat similar, but I love them. Tech suit is really what, got me into Spider-Man. So I'm a huge fan of that from Civil War and from, of course, Homecoming. So I do hope they remake this suit, just better proportions and a head sculpt, maybe artisan, but we'll see. This dude. This was an absolute easy dopo right here. This Black Panther figure, this is the Chadwick. This is the 2.0. They labeled it the Black Panther film for this one because he did wear that suit briefly in the very beginning. He mostly wore the suit in Civil War, and they made a Civil War version, but the new version is greatly improved. I had both of them, and I can tell you that. This one is much better. The materials, the proportions, everything about it is better. It did come with a head sculpt, which I don't love, but I was never going to use it anyway. So huge fan of this. I'm a big fan of the Black Panther film. I love T'Challa. I do think they should have recasted Chadwick. Unfortunately, he was incredible, but I do think the character should have gone on. But you couldn't have done it with Michael B. Jordan, who is this Killmonger, which I love this Killmonger. People were originally freaked out in the beginning when this figure released because of the gold accents on the suit. They changed a little bit, but in hand, it looks absolutely awesome. These two are figures that I couldn't really see myself parting with anytime soon, just because they, again, have nostalgic value for me. I love Black Panther. I really enjoyed that film. And I love Michael B. Jordan as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors. So I am hoping that, he gets to return maybe in other ways, maybe in like your multiverse, but we'll see. Moon Knight. I'm actually a fan of the Moon Knight show. Oscar Isaac's acting was absolutely incredible. So I had to pick this one up, not just because the figure and the costume design looks amazing, but Oscar Isaac's acting was so heartbreakingly good. I had to pick up this Moon Knight figure. I really love the show. I actually watched it twice. I watched it all the way through twice. Really enjoyed it. The villain, there are some weak spots, but I do think the film had a lot of good things to say. The show, rather, had a lot of good things to say. And I really enjoyed it. I thought the character was great. I'm excited to see more of Moon Knight. So here's another wide look at the Marvel case. Really happy with where this is headed so far. We got some artisan figures coming in soon, so I'm going to have to figure out my space, but we're going to figure that out as we go. You know how collectors operate. This is our movie case, our movie and TV case, I guess you could say, right? So there's a wide look here. You can see that's the movie and TV case looks like. There's going to be a lot of shifting going on. There's a lot of Pennywise, which we will go over. This is Cloud. This is Final Fantasy VII Cloud. So you may say, well, that's a video game. No, this is Advent Children was actually a film, I believe in the early 2000s. I don't remember the exact year. I was pretty young, but I did watch it. And if you watch it today, it doesn't hold up perfectly as well, but I will say it's still a great film. It has a lot of nostalgic value, and I love Cloud as a character. And I, of course, love this look. I have his bike as well, the Fenrir bike that I'll show you in just a little bit. But I love this Cloud. This is Final Fantasy VII. I do recommend playing the remake game if you have a chance. This is from the Advent Children film, but nonetheless, still a great overall experience. So this is the in-art Bruce Wayne. This is the Bruce Wayne from the Batman 2022 film with Robert Pattinson. This Bruce Wayne figure was not something that I thought would actually be this good. It's really, really good. The head sculpt in person is awesome. And I always say with the rooted hair, if you don't like how the rooted hair is styled, you can always rework it yourself and adjust yours to your liking. I think it looks great. I'm very happy with it. And Bruce Wayne is awesome. It's a great head sculpt. And I do think that overall, if you're picking up Bruce Wayne, you're going to be very happy. Looking to the back of the case here, you can see this is the Jack Sparrow. This is the DX version from Dead Man Tell No Tales, which honestly, I really enjoyed. I've always been a huge Pirates fan. Pirates 1 was my favorite movie for a really long time. I watched it like 15 or 16 times when I was younger. I used to watch it all the time. Pirates 2 became my favorite film after that. Pirates 2, I think, is underrated, intensely underrated. And I do maintain to this day that Pirates 2 is one of the best sort of adventure films out there that's ever been made. I love it, and I wish we got another Davy Jones. But a new Jack Sparrow is coming. This is the In-Art Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman 2022 Batman. You can see this figure is absolutely awesome. There is so much to like here. There's so much to like insofar as the proportions of the figure, the overall costume design, and of course the detail. The attention to detail from In-Art here is absolutely fantastic. Cannot say enough good things about it. Again, the Batman, I've always said, is the mid-man, right? It's not my favorite Batman film, but I do love this costume design, and I do think the character has potential for where we're headed. So, thought the film was good, not great. I'm excited to see more. Nonetheless, I'm a huge Last of Us stan. People know this about me. You'll find this out over this collection tour. This is the Toys Era 1/6 scale Pedro Pascal Joel from the HBO series The Last of Us. Excuse me, by the way, for any shaky footage. I did handhold this whole thing, and you'd be surprised how heavy these cameras are when you're trying to film all this stuff and hold it and film it for long periods of time. So essentially that is the Toys Era Joel figure. I absolutely love this one, honestly. It's grown on me more and more as time goes on. I thought it was decent before, and now I think it's pretty good. This is the In-Art Joker, the Dark Knight Joker 2-pack. So you can see the other Heath Ledger back there, which we'll go over. This one is actually great. Over time, I feel like I've lessened in my excitement just slightly after I've seen the competition of it. But overall, the base is great. I have the money out there. I have the detonator, the exclusive detonator, which is awesome as well. And I got Joker in his iconic little card holding pose. I mean, what more did you ask for? The head sculpt is great. Paint applications, pretty good. I think they're good. I mean, I think they seem a little bit dated even from a couple years ago, but they're still very good. I'm very happy with this Joker. It's a great figure. So for anyone who has this one, I think you're going to be very happy with it. And of course, you have the other Heath Ledger from the 2-pack, the sort of jail cell version. There's the jail cell diorama that comes with this 2-pack. You can see him sitting on the die-cast bench there with the wood floor. It's great. It's a good head sculpt. The hair, again, I think is pretty good. The heads on this one's just like slightly oversized, but I do think it still looks great. But yeah, I'm a huge Heath Ledger fan. Again, Dark Knight is one of the things that made me a fan of film, really, and film of the comic book genre. So I'm excited to get Bane. Bane's been one of my most anticipated ever, so I cannot wait. And of course, here we got Two-Face. You know, again, ties into the Dark Knight, right? Two-Face is really an underrated character. If you go back and watch that film and look at his development, it's pretty awesome. His story is pretty tragic, and I do think they do a great job sort of like side developing him. And I'm very happy with how this figure turned out. Very underrated. This was I believe this was a Toy Fair exclusive. Like they made it during one of the summers, and you know they made an original version, and this version is vastly superior. I don't think they'll be making another one anytime soon, but I do think this one is great, and it still holds up very well. Talking about holding up, this Terminator figure. This is the DX13 Battle Damage Terminator. We are apparently supposed to get another version of this, a remake or a reissue. I guess only time will tell. But as of now, this one's holding strong and doing fantastic. This is the Battle Damage Terminator from Terminator 2 when he fights the T-1000 in the factory. At the end of the film, this is great. I love it. Again, one of my favorite figures. I did have to pay up for this one a little bit. This one had been released before I even was collecting, and I'm a huge Terminator fan. My Terminator love for Terminator 2 especially really knows no bounds. So I'm excited about having this one in my collection. This is the In-Art Aragorn. I just reviewed this one on my channel recently, so feel free to check that one out. This is the In-Art Aragorn from Fellowship of the Ring, so the first Lord of the Rings film. This is great. This figure honestly is awesome. Again, I've said the head sculpt declined a little bit, and I maintain that. I still think overall it's a 9 head sculpt. It's fantastic. One of the best head sculpts I've ever seen, and I am super thrilled to have an Aragorn in my collection. I cannot say enough good things about this. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. You'll see my statue collection in a little bit, and I'll prove that to you. But I cannot wait for Legolas announcement. Got the Gandalf, as you can see. Aragorn is absolutely awesome. And again, the base doesn't take up too much space, so happy about that. This is Gandalf, also from the Fellowship of the Ring. Really love this figure. This is probably one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen in hand, if not the best. At the time I reviewed it, I felt it was the best. So nowadays, now that I'm looking at it, still pretty damn good. So very excited about that. And if you don't have this figure and you're a Lord of the Rings fan, take a look and see if you can find it out there. And, you know, again, you can style the hair to your liking, see what you want to do. Mine, I used a little bit of water and tried to adjust it just a little bit, but you do you, see what you like. But nonetheless, this figure is fantastic. I am working on the poses for some of these figures. Maybe I'll adjust them just a little bit. As you can tell, I tend to be more of a character pose, museum pose type of collector, just based on my space and my preferences. So nonetheless, that's what we're doing. This is the Mortal Kombat Scorpion from the film, I believe it was 2020, 2021. I absolutely love that movie. movie. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, have a lot of nostalgic connection to it. Really, really loved the film. I don't care what anyone says. I enjoyed that film. I thought it was great. I wish that Pop Toys made Sub-Zero, because Pop Toys is a third-party company who made the Scorpion. It's die-cast in the armor and the die-cast weapons as well. So it's metal. Very, very, very heavy figure. You need a base for this one because he's so fucking heavy that he will topple over if you're not careful. I love this figure. It's one of my favorites in my entire collection. So now we're looking at the InArt Pennywise. This is, as people who know me, this is a true grail to me. It's on the Hot Toys base, so that's the Hot Toys base underneath there with the InArt boat going into the sewer. I'm just going around, as you can see here, just to show you the side of the figure. This head sculpt, he's got his little whispering hand on with the Hot Toys skateboard behind him, and the Hot Toys severed arm is also a Hot Toys accessory. So it's pretty great. You can see the Pennywise right in the middle there. This is the Pennywise holding the balloon, also an InArt Pennywise. I do have 3 of these because I had 2. I bought 2 originally, and someone was selling me a loose body, and I had an extra head sculpt for $180. I was like, cool, let's do it. So there's a Pennywise holding the balloon. That's on the InArt base that's all true InArt accessories and InArt head sculpt, all that good stuff. Just an incredible figure. You can see there's the third Pennywise holding Georgie's boat on that base as well. I may get a different base, maybe one of the InArt diorama bases for the third Pennywise, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to have 3 Pennywises in the Module case forever. So for now, we're going to see what we want to do when more figures come in. But I'm going to put one of the Pennywises separate, maybe an Apex or something else, somewhere else. But as of now, we got 3 Pennywises in the case. So taking a wide look at the movie and TV case, you can see it's starting to come together. I think it's looking pretty good. So I am happy with how it's turned out, but there's still a lot of additions to come. So a lot of things on pre-order. So now we're down to the video game case. So this is the case I actually have the most room in. So this case, honestly, I have a lot of potential. I've been considering picking up Advanced Suit 2.0 Spider-Man, but we'll see. This is the Game Toys Sephiroth. They could be making another version. That's been the rumor. This is from Final Fantasy VII Remake. I absolutely love this figure. This has always been one of my true grails. He does come with his wing if you're a knowledgeable fan of Final Fantasy VII, but the wire is metal and not always the most reliable long term. So it tends to degrade over time and doesn't really hold the wing as well. The wing is articulated. It's great. It's massive, but you got to be careful with how it's holding. He's got his Masamune sword there, die-cast metal. Love that. This figure has a ton of presence. Let's move on to Cloud. So, of course, the main character, Cloud, this is Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud on his Hardy Daytona bike. There is a base there to the left because I'm getting the second-class soldier version of Cloud that I will be putting in that spot. So I'm going to use that base. But Cloud, yeah, you can see they're sitting on his Hardy Daytona. That bike came with the set. Had to pay up for this one, but I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. What can I say? Shout out to Dean from Collecting Weekly, who is probably even bigger fan than me. Well, definitely is, but yeah, love this bike, love this Cloud. Of course, as you can see, I have 2 Clouds. Eventually, we'll have 3. So you can tell Cloud is a very important character to me. If there were more Sephiroths available, I would have more of those. Sephiroth is my favorite Final Fantasy character, so love Cloud. He's my second favorite. But you can see the details on the bike. Just awesome, phenomenal, really, really great. But yeah, can't say enough good things about it. This is Zack Fair, as you can see in the middle here. Zack Fair from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Of course, he's the one really that has a connection to Cloud. If you know the original story, which I will not spoil, there's a lot that Zack has to do with Cloud's story. And beyond that, Zack is really big on Rebirth, in the second remake game that just actually came out this year. So check those out. I would highly recommend it. Zack is awesome. He also a soldier, genetically enhanced, really, really good. But Zack is cool. Zack's definitely not a dingus. Zack is an awesome character, and I would definitely recommend picking up this figure if you're a Final Fantasy fan. So Game Toys, also unlicensed. They make really good shit, make some of the best third-party figures out there, and Zack is really no exception to that. Sephiroth, Cloud, Zack, all of them. They got some other stuff coming. I think it's great. These are the Storm collectibles, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. So these are visibly jointed figures, but if you're smart about it, as you can see what I've done here, you can try to conceal them the best you can. You just slide the little shoulder strap over the shoulder joint, and then you bend the elbows and you kind of hide it. So I'm a huge, again, Mortal Kombat fan. Sub-Zero and Scorpion are my 2 dudes. Those are the 2 characters that really my brother and I have always loved. I've always been more of a Sub-Zero guy, him more of a Scorpion guy, which I think is pretty exciting. But, you know, there are both of them there, as you can see. I love both of them. I picked these up, actually, one of them, I picked up Scorpion in Tennessee with Kiko at Replay Toys. So that was pretty fun. So there's got a little bit of nostalgic value there as well, just because I was with my bro Kiko when we picked that one up. But yeah, and I got the Sub-Zero directly from Storm Collectibles. Great figures. This is the VS Toys Nanaki, so VS Toys Red 13, also a Final Fantasy VII character. if you're unfamiliar. He is awesome. Red 13 is a really important character. I do hope Game Toys or someone else decides to make this character. It's a pretty good quality statue, to be honest. It has rooted hair, as you can tell. But I do think there are some companies out there that maybe could do a little bit more justice to the character. Still, I love this Red 13. I really enjoy the game and, of course, the character. So I can't complain. Honestly, we either have a Red 13 or you don't. I think overall, this one is pretty good. The colors, the accuracy, maybe slightly oversized, but we'll see. This is the goated grail right here. So this is the Silent Hill 2 Pyramid Head, and this is actually from Iconic Studios, 1/6 scale. Has a fully silicone body and, of course, a giant pyramid head. So Silent Hill, the Pyramid Head is the manifestation of James Sunderland's guilt. So really what he is, manifestation of James's, past and trauma. And I think it really makes for an interesting character. This is from the Silent Hill 2 remake that should be coming out, I believe, in October of this year. Super excited to get that one. I still actually have not played the original, but I saw the movies, and my brother played the original games, and I used to watch them a lot as a kid. So I have a nostalgic connection to this character, and I'm super excited for the new game, so I had to pick this one up. Great, amazing figure. This is the Lim Toys Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2, and a horse, a custom horse, third party. It's from Longjin Shu, I believe. I got it from Big Bad way back, but it's an amazing horse. I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. It's one of the best stories I've played. It's a long-ass game, but Arthur Morgan is an incredible character. And I really think this Lim Toys figure is great. If you're familiar with Lim Toys, they make great figures, but they take forever. Like whatever the pre-order window is, add 2 years to it. Legitimately, I'm not exaggerating. You legitimately will probably wait 2 years after they said the figure's going to be out. But you'll know the quality will be there. That's what Lim Toys have always delivered, and this Arthur Morgan is no exception. This is one of the best third-party figures that I own. So there's no doubt about it that this figure is absolutely awesome. The horse is awesome too, by the way. This is a custom horse, as I mentioned, but still, nonetheless, it is great. So can't say enough good things. So here's another wide look at my game case. So again, I'll probably add some anime, Levi, something like that in there as well. But games right now, still plenty of room to be added. Let's move on to the statues. So statues, you can see here, these are quarter scale and half scale statues, maybe even some 1/6 in there. But these are my statue scale cases, and these are actually custom Maji cases. So they're all custom dimensions based on what I had at the time and I worked with Brian on. So this is the Prime 1 Sauron. So Sauron from Lord of the Rings. This is from the Fellowship of the Ring, the flashback where they're looking at Sauron's sort of rise to power. And he has the ring on his hand there. There's the finger with the severed finger with the ring on it, the one ring. And you can see the lava molten base as well. This is Prime 1. This is quarter scale. And if you remember the shot I just showed you, it's pretty much the size of half scale Pennywise. So Sauron is a big boy. But the detail on this thing is remarkable. There is so much detail and there's so much intricacies, honestly. The parts, it took a while for me to assemble this. So the first time I assembled it took me about an hour because there's a lot of different armored parts and you got to be very careful applying them. The cape is fully wired so you can adjust it and it's just awesome. It has a ton of presence to it. Normally it looks better up higher, but currently I don't have a place to display him. I have a pedestal, but it wouldn't look right in this room. Nonetheless, we have a Loki. This is a quarter scale statue from Queen Studios, who are the parent company of InArt, who you may be familiar with. They make 6 scale figures. This is a full leather outfit. And of course you have the scepter there. It does light up, but of course the battery, the bulb inside is not that, bright for one. It doesn't last that long. Rooted hair. So really cool rooted hair, real leather, great pose. I think the base is awesome. This is from Avengers 1 when of course Loki arrives on Earth and is burdened with glorious purpose. So I really love this one. It's maybe a little bit underscaled when you put it next to Prime 1 quarter scales like this Night King I'm about to show you. It's a little undersized, but I do think overall it still looks great. It almost feels like it's more like 1/5 scale, but 1/4 scale still works. I love it. So this is the Prime 1 Night King statue from the Game of Thrones Season 5. This is, I believe, Episode 8 Hard Home from Game of Thrones. And the Night King, this is the deluxe version, the ultimate version, rather, with the 2 whites standing behind him. You can see him standing on the icy base of Hardhome, the icy dock and floor. I think it's great. You can see the white behind him and the second white there as well with the bloody hand and the axe on his belt. So really cool statue. I love this thing. This thing is massive. It's about 27 inches in height. So it's maybe a little bit tall for the case it's in, which is why it looks a little bit bright because it's closer to the light up top. So I'm going to have to maybe rework this over time and see if I can put a shelf in to maybe Sauron's case or figure out what I want to do here. I would love to expand my space, but as you'll see throughout this video, I've printed out figures, statues from time to time, and I do what I can with the space that I've been provided and the budget and the means that I have. So love this statue though. Amazing, incredible. I cannot say enough good things about it. If you love Game of Thrones, I mean, you can't do much better than this. Now the grail to rule all grails. This is the Prime 1 1/2 scale Pennywise. So this actually has rooted hair. There are other head sculpts that you could have bought separately. There's one with teeth, and there's actually a different one that I believe is more of a stoic look instead of the smiling look. And you can put that one on the figure as well. You can see the base with Georgie's hand underneath and the boat and the water. Pretty damn cool. Real fabric on all the fabric parts. Of course, you got a root hair head sculpt. It's phenomenal. It's, dude, half scale. This thing is massive. So it takes up like really a whole case there. I love this Pennywise statue. Again, everyone who knows me knows I'm a big Pennywise fan. You saw 3 Pennywises in the 1/6 scale display. So in the statue display, you knew you were going to find at least one Pennywise. So here you are, 1 half scale Pennywise. I would love to get another half scale statue to match it at some point, maybe across from him in the case that Sauron is in. But for now, nothing too crazy. I think this looks great. Again, if you're a big Pennywise fan, try to see if you can find that one. This is The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie, the theater. So those who know me know that I used to hate The Last of Us 2, but over time I came to love The Last of Us 2. It is one of my favorite games of all time now. It's probably honestly my 3rd favorite game of all time as of now. I've been replaying it many, many times over since then, and I love it. So this is the scene when Ellie and Abby are hunting one another in Seattle, and it's fantastic. I chose to not get Abby because of the space. If I had more room, I'd probably get Abby, although I'm still not the biggest fan of the character. But Ellie's portrait is absolutely awesome. The base is dynamic here. You have that LED light on the light there on the boxes. You can just push the back of it and it's battery powered and you can turn it on and off. But Ellie has swap outs. You can swap out her pistol and, you know, you put a different head on there. So it's pretty cool. So this is the Goat Samurai. This is Jin Sakai. Jin Sakai, you know, from Ghost of Tsushima. They are going to make a second one, I hear, shortly. So they're going to be announcing that probably this year. Probably going to come out in a couple years. But I absolutely love this game. This is probably my 2nd favorite game ever. So Ghost of Tsushima, I've played many, many times now. And the combat, the story is just incredible. There's so much heart to this game. And it's just fun. It's an adventure. Jin just does some crazy stuff. There's the fox that you meet quite a bit in the game. There's the Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima symbol in the front there. This is the exclusive edition, so you could put Jin Sakai actually holding his mask on the head, but I like this version better with the mask on, so I choose to display this one. So looking at this case, I am going to put Prime 1, Last of Us, Joel, and Ellie in there as well and slide Ellie to the middle. I do believe I have room for all of that, so I'm going to try to do that once that statue arrives. Joel, Ellie versus Clicker. So this is the Prime 1 diorama here. They're 2 separate statues. There's Baldur versus Kratos and Atreus. This is a huge diorama set piece. It just looks awesome together. I honestly wish that I had more of these in my display. So this kind of makes me want to get Abby, right? Because you can build these diorama displays. And I think when you put multiple statues together like this, it really increases that immersion and that depth of, you know, just awesomeness, that depth, like your man cave. Like, I feel like I'm in the game, right? These are just incredible statues. I cannot see myself selling these statues for a very long time. Baldur actually bought first, funny enough. Baldur is the one I wanted first, and then I got Kratos and Atreus after because I really loved Baldur as a villain, but I know I'm going to want Thor. When they announced Thor from God of War Ragnarok, I feel like I'm going to want that. So I want to see what the diorama looks like for that one, and I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. But this is an amazing diorama. I love this piece. It's just truly incredible. That's why I have it in front and center in my live streams because I'm so proud of it. This is the Drogon from 3.0. This is actually 1/6 scale Drogon, and this is the Beast Kingdom 1/6 scale Iron Throne. So these are actually from Game of Thrones, obviously. This Drogon, there were only 144 units made of this because this retailed for $1,500. I actually bought mine, I've told this story, from HBO Shop. They had a discount code for like a birthday or something that of mine, and I got 15% off and free shipping. So I got it for like $1,200, $1,250 shipped, something like that after tax. So very happy with this. I think, again, a lot of people have messaged me about this saying they want to buy it. I have no interest in selling this. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I really love House of the Dragon Season 2. I thought it was pretty good overall, but I am a little bit disappointed with some of it. It hasn't reached the height of Game of Thrones yet. Season 8 let us down, but still, I remember the good times. Season 1 through 7, I loved. I'm a big fan of Season 7. Season 8, though, yeah, garbage, no doubt about it. This is the Beast Kingdom Iron Throne. You can pick this up almost anywhere nowadays. Amazon for under $200. I paid $250. I think it retailed for 320, something like that, 330. But they made 3,000 units, which was too many. And this is an awesome piece, a lot of detail, really, really well done piece. What more could you really ask for from the Iron Throne? It's 1/6 scale. I cannot wait to get the in-art versions when they announce Dany and Jon, which I will put in this case. So I'm gonna have a 1/6 Game of Thrones display in this case here. That was the original plan. So we're just waiting on that. 2028, we'll see. Sometime around then, but we'll see. Love this Drogon, love this Beast Kingdom Iron Throne, would recommend them. One more wide look at the statue cases here. I think this is great. Again, these are custom ModuCase cases. If you're looking for custom cases, message ModuSpace. I'll put a link in the description below. Here's my closet full of props and figures and other stuff. So you're going to see an array of different things, mostly props, I guess you would say. But on this top shelf, we have some Last of Us stuff. So these are the Lim Toys 1/6 scale Last of Us Joel and Ellie figures. So, sorry, 1/12 scale. My apologies, 1/12 scale. These are actually amazing for 1/12 scale. So you got to think you have a very small canvas to work with, right? But you have a lot of detail and real fabric parts, great head sculpts, real weapons, real materials for the weapons. I think it's awesome. I think this is really cool. The bases are pretty cool. And I put these up in the display. I'm getting the clickers as well. They're making clickers in 1/12 scale, and I have those on order with 1/6 kit. So this is a signed steelbook from The Last of Us Part 2. I got this. I ordered this through SWOW. I bought the steelbook and sent it to them. That's Troy Baker, who plays Joel, signing on the back, as you can see there. On the back end side, that is Joel. This is the UK steelbook, and Ellie on the front. So Ellie signed the front version and Joel on the back, and I got my authentication on there. And then this is the Part 1, Last of Us Part 1, signed by Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, Joel and Ellie. And that's the Firefly Edition steelbook, which I bought the Firefly Edition. Super excited. And now we have the Denuvo Novo Kylo Ren, the Rise of Skywalker helmet. You can see the cracks are red. They're painted into the helmet. You got, of course, a real fiberglass construction, very similar to their screen used materials. You got the Novos, who is now Denuvo Novo. They were originally Novos. Kylo Ren helmet with chrome on the plate there, on the faceplate. And then that's from The Force Awakens. And again, the red cracks, Rise of Skywalker. Again, huge Kylo fan here. I would love to get a licensed Kylo Ren replica lightsaber at some point that's really, really high quality. There was a prop shop one at some point, but it became really, really expensive. Although if one of those ever did become available, I would consider it because I would love to get one. Maybe EFX will make one, but if you guys ever see a licensed Kylo Ren replica that's super high quality that gets made, I would definitely consider that as an option. So what we have here is the EFX A New Hope Darth Vader helmet. This has actually been custom painted by my friend Weston Staggs. He's known as Staggs FX Cosplay. He's a great painter and artist, and he painted this because I have a 501st Legion Darth Vader costume. If you're not aware what that is, it's a costume, it's a costume company that's associated with Lucasfilm, it's a charity organization. So they have Star Wars fans who make really good costumes and, do charity events. So I'm part of that. It's really great. Haven't done one in a little while, but I do love them. I usually go as Kylo, Revan, or Vader. Those are my three. So this is the Fenrir bike from Game Toys. This is the 1/6 scale bike. This is Cloud's bike, who I showed you earlier from Advent Children, the Final Fantasy VII film. So again, this is 1/6 scale. I do have different lights in this case compared to the cool white that you see in other cases. I couldn't adjust the lights to get it to work right, so I just said, you know what, that does look pretty cool. Let's roll with it. We'll go with a little bit warmer tone there. So that's the Fenrir bike. Pretty awesome. I wish I had more space for it in the ModuCase to put Cloud on it, but I do not, alas. So maybe one day if I can put him in a mono or something like that. So this is the Hot Toys 1-to-1 Infinity Gauntlet from Avengers Infinity War. Again, Infinity War being my favorite film, you can guess why I had this Infinity Gauntlet. I think it's incredible. I bought these acrylic cubes from a place called Shop Pop Displays. They make custom acrylic cubes, so you just kind of measure what you need, and then you order one and get it sent to you. They are a little bit expensive depending upon the size, but I do think they're worth it. And I put wireless LED lights in there, so they are remote activated. You do have to charge them, so every once in a while you do have to take them out, which is kind of a bitch, but you have to take them out and charge them. This Infinity Gauntlet does light up, but the acrylic cube covers the USB port, and I have to run a wire through the closet. So maybe I'll cut a little hole in the acrylic at some point to run the wire outside of it. But for now, I am not having it lit up. So I do think it looks great regardless, lit up or not. And that's a grail piece for me. So one more look at the closet here. Looks absolutely awesome. Guys, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I honestly have been working on this for years. So this is really, truly one of my grail pieces. This is the Taylor 314 CE guitar. This is a 1-to-1 replica license from Taylor, who make amazing acoustic guitars, from The Last of Us Part 2. You can see a little plaque in there. This is signed by Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, Joel and Ellie, once again. I got it signed by them and sent the plaque in and all that good stuff. Again, if you're a guitar player or have played guitar before, you know Taylor acoustic guitars are absolutely top of the line incredible. It's usually either them or Martin for most people who love guitars. And I've always been a Taylor guy, so I'm happy I was able to pick this one up. I actually bought this on eBay from another seller because at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to drop $2,500 for this guitar because that's how much it costs. Because it's a real guitar. It's an amazing guitar. but I don't play it. I just kind of keep it safe and sound. This is the Ellie backpack from the Ellie edition, licensed from Naughty Dog directly when the game was released for the Ellie edition. It's like a deluxe edition, essentially. They sold you this backpack with Ellie's bracelet from the game. So I had it weathered by my friend Weston, who I mentioned, Weston Staggs. Check him out. And you can see my streaming light and setup behind there, as you can tell as well. But that was Ellie's backpack. I bought some arrows on Amazon and put them in the backpack. So it's great. Here's a signed autograph picture from The Last of Us Part 1. It is Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson once again. It is an 11 by 17. I got it framed. And there's a Part 2 version with Ellie and Joel, Ashley Johnson, and Troy Baker once again. I got it framed, custom museum glass. Buy nice, buy twice. Buy nice or buy twice. So museum glass all the way. I would recommend it just because the viewing is superior to any other glass out there. So of course, this is the Valyrian Steel 1-to-1 Jon Snow sword, the King of the North edition. So I believe there were 750 units of this made. You can see the plaque display here has the Stark logo on it, the Stark emblem rather. So the house sigil. So it's actually a metal on there, which is great. It's a Damascus steel for the actual sword. So you got to coat this thing every so often. You can see the eyes on the pommel there. Again, this is awesome, dude. So you can see the Damascus steel. I do oil it every so often just to keep it healthy. There are a little bit of pitting in there before I knew what I was doing. I think I caused a little bit of issue, but the sword still looks great. It's battle damaged, weathered. It's fine. I love it. So I'm really happy with that. This is actually a license from Naughty Dog stop sign, the Firefly stop sign from The Last of Us. So if you played the game, I put this on this is a bathroom, by the way, that you go in right there. And I put this on the door. My dad actually screwed this into the door for me. And I was like, cool, this actually lends to the sort of environment of everything. So I think this is really cool. Maybe I'll have it weathered. These are actually Kotobukiya statues. I believe they're 1/8 scale. These are from Attack on Titan, the anime. So if you've never watched that anime, very, very violent, but I'm obviously a huge fan. I can't wait to pick up the Prime 1 Beast Titan versus Levi statue. That is going to be amazing. These are, again, 1/8 scale Mikasa. We got Aaron and Levi there in their scouts outfits fighting Titans. Now we're moving on to some art prints. So this is actually called Duality Night. I actually bought this, funny enough, from Josh from Comic Concepts. He had, I believe, a couple of these prints. I've been looking for it, so he sold me this art print, and I got it framed with museum glass. So really excited about that. I love this. This is a 16 by 20 print, and of course framed a little bit larger with a mat. This is a print by Jake Cantu, an amazing artist. So if you want to look up art from Jake Cantu, I would highly recommend it. This one is from The Last of Us Part 1, as you can tell. Again, I'm a huge Last of Us fan. I have a tattoo of Last of Us on my arm. So this is Joel and Ellie. And this one I had to fight. I had to wake up, I think, at 2 or 3 a.m. for the drop for this one. And I got up and got in the queue, and the website crashed, and I still pushed my way through and bought this. Even if I didn't, I would have paid whatever I needed to on the aftermarket. I love his pricing. I love his, his artwork, and I'm fine paying the price for it. This is, we always talk about chase pieces, right? This is Duality Day, a piece by Cook and Becker, which is what the Duality Night piece is as well. Licensed art prints from Last of Us Part 2. This is one that I actually had to pay $1,500 for, despite it being $100 retail when it sold, because it is so sought after and desired. It took me 3 to 5 months to even find someone who had it, who was even considering selling it. So I had to negotiate quite a bit, and I did not have much leverage. So I had to pay out the ass for it. Regardless, I love this one. It's great. One of my cherished pieces. So this is a print called Pegida from Cook and Becker. It's from Ghost of Tsushima. As you can tell, I'm a big PlayStation video game fan. Ghost of Tsushima is my second favorite game, like I mentioned probably. So love this art print. This is Jin Sakai looking at the temple there. Really cool art print with dope colors. Of course, you have quality framing. Buy nice or buy twice, like I mentioned. So this is actually a frame called Pike Street. This is from a picture called Pike Street, rather, an art piece from The Last of Us Part 2 from Cook and Becker. Of course, you have the white mat that's usually consistent, very safe, and a black frame. I try to do all the same frames for my prints. And this one's awesome. This is Ellie hunting Abby in Seattle. I don't remember the dimensions of this print, but it's pretty large. This one's actually called Tyr. So this is actually from God of War, the first God of War. And this is when Atreus and Kratos are riding towards Tyr's statue, and it's burning and on fire. And it's a really cool art print. You can see the water underneath and just the discrepancy between the sky and the statue and the boat and everything. I think it's just a really dynamic piece of art, and I loved it, and I love the game, obviously. This is another Ghost of Tsushima art print. It's called The Old Flooded Path, and this one is in artist-proof version, which I do have for some of my other prints as well. And very rare. I like it, and I love this piece. You can still pick it up on Cook and Becker as of me recording this video. So if you love Ghost of Tsushima, I would recommend it. Great piece, great video game, and has a very sort of artistic vibe to it, which I love. So looking at the art prints again, you can see there's a lot of cool stuff here. Here's another one, by the way. It's called Jin's Horse Nobu. Really cool. Just Jin Sakai looking out to the open field there. Really awesome. So guys, as we wrap up, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys stuck with me through this entire collection tour. There's a lot to look at. I'm really proud of this collection and where it's come over the last 7 to 8 years, whatever it is. And there's more work to be done. So I'm really excited about this. More figures, more adjustments. It's a never-ending process. Make sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you let me know how your collection is going, I'd love to see what you're working on. And, you know, post your own collection tours. I can always take a look at those. And let me know what you're thinking about. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it if you feel compelled. Really appreciate that. We're almost at 10K. So guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya. Bye.